Hey everyone, welcome to the VO Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Ann Ganguzza, and today's guest is Spike Spencer, a veteran voice actor whose career spans anime, video games, animation, film, and commercials. Yay! Spike is widely known for his work in iconic anime series, and there's so many of them. I'm just going to name a couple. Pokemon, Dragon Ball Super, Hunter x Hunter, along with major roles in video game franchises such as League of Legends. Along with major roles in video game franchises such as League of Legends, World of Warcraft, and Final Fantasy. And I can talk. But beyond voiceover, Spike is an accomplished on-camera actor, author, certified master NLP coach, and the host and chef of a YouTube cooking show called Chow Time. His work uniquely blends performance, mindset, and the power of voice in a way that's both practical and transformative. Spike, thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome to the show.
Absolutely glad to be here. I didn't know I did all that amazing stuff. Wow.
Well, I could barely read it. So, as you can tell. I know there's so many, like literally your bio is like 2 pages long. And so you'll catch us up on all the stuff that I missed out on. But, and of course we'll talk about voiceover first, but there's so many things that you do that I'm so interested in that I want to chat about because I think it directly affects your voiceover career and the success that you've had over the span of these years. So. Yeah. Speaking of that, because your career has spanned decades, and tell me a little bit about, it probably started with kind of a much different picture of what success looked like. So, because in the beginning, right, you think success is one thing, but then after, decades, you kind of probably have a different picture. So what did the early Spike think success in voiceover looked like, and how has that evolved over time?
Well, the funny part is I didn't start out to do voiceover. I was on camera. I was at the University of Houston. I started at high school. I did some drama. I was like, I love this stuff. Went to the University of Houston, got a baccalaureate degree in the honors program, majoring in drama. Wow.
There you go.
Nobody's ever asked me for it, so, there's that. So nobody cares. Go Cougs. Anyway. But I went pro, back in 87, 88. Got an agent and did all the stuff. And one of the first things I did was the voiceover stuff for radio spots and things in Houston. So as far as voiceover started, that's when I really started. But the funny part that got me into actual voice acting was I was doing a film, a live action film with my friend Amanda Wynn Lee, who has done tons of stuff, and she was directing at a thing called AD Vision, which was one of the only places in the country that was dubbing Japanese anime. And
because
I didn't really
thought
know
that
what
was
it was
kind of recently, but you're right. That's a while ago.
That was a long time. It was 30 years ago. Yeah. And I was just like, does it pay? And she's like, yeah. Right? I'm like, yeah, I can do that. What it is. Yes, I'm an actor. Can you do that? Yes. Now, what is that? What is that? So I went in and I landed a little role, and then things just kind of went from there. And then I did one that was iconic. We didn't know it at the time, called Evangelion, and I was the lead in that. And I ended up doing 4 movies, the series 4 movies, then 3 rebuilds, and then another 4, redid the first 3 rebuilds and another one to finish it out for Amazon Prime 4 or 5 years ago. I was in Australia for that one, but yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's what really got me started. I still appear at conventions mainly because of that series.
Oh,
so it's really
awesome. Now, I would imagine that your early acting. Well, your acting degree helped, right? I would say in terms of doing the anime and animation. It's not like you went right into like corporate narration or anything. You know what I mean? So I feel like your acting experience probably had something to do with, I guess getting you going in that career or having fun with that career.
Yeah.
It's
a funny thing. It's actually, I did a lot of corporate stuff because Houston was a big corporate town. Oh,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
awesome.
it was all, when you're in Houston, I mean, everything is intertwined.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're doing anything and everything. When I got out to LA, it was different. It was like, so what do you do? You know, they want to pin you down.
Right,
you know, it's
right.
like, I'm an actor. What do you do? Well, I've done some voiceover. Oh, you're a voice guy. I'm like, no, well, I mean, I can do that. It's like, hey, what have you done? I've done some anime. Oh, you're an anime guy. I'm like, no, I'm an actor.
I love that. They tried to pinpoint you, but you did not want to be. You did not want to be targeted.
No,
pinned down to any particular genre.
It's crazy. So anyway, that's how it all started, and it just kind of kept going. I did some films when I was in Houston. Some pretty big names. I've been on camera with 4 Academy Award nominees. Nice.
Yeah, I
had
read that
scenes with,
yeah.
you know, and I'm like, whoa.
I know.
It was so cool. And then I went to LA, and Hollywood didn't care.
Well,
you worked with who, darling?
yeah, right.
Sit down.
Everybody works with, yeah, exactly.
Sit down.
Well, you know, kind of going back to all of your animation video game sort of experience, I mean, I imagine that because you've done some iconic characters, that comes with a little bit of responsibility because there's a fan base. Tell me a little bit about that. I mean, how does that work over the years, especially? Because you're appearing at cons, and you know fans must like want to meet you, and I don't know, have crazy. I don't know.
Oh, the
crazy
stories
about how, crazy stories. As a matter of fact, I think you authored a book that's what is it? What
happens at the con stays at the con.
Stays at the con.
Yeah.
Dish, please.
Back in the day. Well, it's funny because so the stories in that one, they're, you know how there's true biographies and stuff, and then there's fiction.
Yeah.
They're kind of mixed, you know. It's like these are things that happened or were told to me secondhand or stuff, and I made them into a story. I was like, that's fun. And they read it, and they're like, oh my God, that's so close to the reality. And so it was just fun to do. It's on Amazon. Yeah, a lot of fun stuff there. And I would do, I still do, panels at the conventions. And one of them is what happens at the con stays at the con. So I'll break out the book and I'll read a story, and we'll talk about, the way things used to be back, 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. It was crazy. I mean, they had green rooms with full bars and stuff like that, and like,
is that where it stems from?
Wow, a little crazy stuff going on out there.
That's crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Well, what about the fans? Did you ever have any interesting encounters with fans who, I don't know, went a little maybe too far in terms of you're the character, and then really kind of wanting you to be the character, and then they meet you, and I don't know.
Yeah, I get that a lot. It's funny. This just happened in. I was in Houston actually, at the big con there, and they said they wanted to walk with me, and I need to go sign a car. And I'm walking. I'm just being myself, and I'm quite positive, and I command my space. I've learned how to do this over time. And they're like, "Dude, you are like nothing like I thought you would be." I'm like, "I know." I'm not. I'm an actor. But it is funny because they'll go, "Oh, hey, Shinji." I'm like,
yeah.
Spike.
Yeah.
Let's break that fourth wall, pal. Just make sure. I've had some weird stuff. There's some weird stuff.
Well, what happens at the con?
Sometimes, some of it was a lot of fun, really cool, and you're hanging out with super cool people and meeting stars and people that I'm like, oh my God, I love this person. It's just so cool. And, you become friends with them a little bit for a while. And that's really cool. That's my favorite part. And that's the only time you get to see other voice actors, really.
Right. Because you're getting
you're in the booth. Of the booth. How you doing?
Exactly.
How you doing?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that's the part I really like about that. Yeah. And but cons have gotten so, I don't know, businessy and fast. It's not, hey, let's all hang out and become a crew for the much anymore. But it used to be a lot of fun. It's still fun. I mean, I'm getting ready to go to Manchester and over in the UK and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, that's going to be cool.
How often are you traveling to cons?
Not very often anymore. I have a family. I'm a dad. I got 3 kids. I got an 11-month-old. So I'm busy doing dad stuff and loving every second of it.
That's right. When I was at Podfest. We were at Podfest when I met you in person for the first time. I also met your wife, who was due like any second at that point, if I remember correctly.
It was not long after.
Yeah. So let's talk about, like, so when you were doing early, well, I guess dubbing, you'd have to be in the studio, right? And when you ultimately evolved into doing more game work and stuff like that, I guess as an actor, I think it must be fun to be doing those types of characters because it takes an intense emotional range, like kind of like, corporate's a little more subdued and nuanced, but you know, anime and games,
boring.
They really, right? Yeah.
Let's be honest, darling.
Yeah, well, I like the intellectual challenge of trying to make them not boring. But but what did the early sessions of those animation and games? How are they different than maybe they are today in your booth?
Well, the technology has just expanded like crazy. It's amazing. Yeah. When we first did it 30 years ago, it was so funny because we were doing everything and recording it to VHS tape. And then mailing that to Japan, and then doing the other things, and then waiting for them to get that back with their notes for us to redo. That's how long it took. It was back and forth. Everything was on paper, and when we recorded, when you're screaming, okay, you're inside a mech, you're on fire, and you're dying. Okay, great. And you got a 10-second, 15-second scream out and everything. You went over by 1 second. Let's do it again. It's like the compression and the extension was not anywhere near as good as it is now. So you just had to go for it and keep going. Do it again. And now it's, my gosh, it's all on the screen. I don't have a script. I'm just like, what am I saying? What? Oh, I'm looking at this thing going across the screen. When it hits this blip, you start talking, and then there's 3-4 lines this way. It's wild. But it's so fast. It's just boom, 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 boom. So,
and I think to be great at it, and to be, you have to instinctually be a great actor because it's instantaneous, right? That you're, getting that emotion and then speaking the line, and then boom, it comes up again. And so, do you ever get, I guess, information about it prior to you going into the studio or recording? It's pretty much on the fly.
On the fly.
Wow.
For the most part.
And that's mostly for dubbing, correct? Yeah, that's mostly for dubbing, right? And what about video and
video games, same way.
Animation?
Video games, same way. You don't get anything ahead of time. You get in the booth and you're like, oh, okay, what do we got here? Look at this, and here it is. So cold reading is probably the best thing that you can possibly learn to do. And that's what I teach when I'm coaching people. I'm just like, okay, what do you say? What do I need to do? I'm like, 1, take acting classes, and 2, learn to cold read.
Yeah. Are there any secrets to, because it's funny because I believe, probably not as quickly paced as not seeing the script right away and then having to perform, right?
Yeah.
Once it's in front of you. Because other genres you get a little bit of advance notice, like a corporate script. I get a little bit of advance notice. And so even people who are auditioning for commercials get a few minutes to look at it and probably think about it and try to, what's the story, and analyze it. So cold reading skills, especially in live directed things, I think they can only expand your capabilities in the area. But a lot of times actors overthink their scripts, and I feel like you can overthink the stuff that you do. A lot of the stuff that you do, you can overthink. Is there like a tip that you can say on how to not overthink your auditions? Because I know a lot of people that do. Okay,
here's some. When I say this, people are like, what? All right, this is very simple. Let's say you do an audition. Your first read is usually your freshest, and it's the thing, right? So usually that's one of your reads. You're like, okay, that's cool. And then you question everything, and you start going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I didn't do that. I'm going to link it. And then 10 takes later, you finally go, okay, that's okay too. Well, I do it this way. I say, okay, I do a first take and a last take, and then I leave.
Yeah, I like that. It's much more efficient, right? It's much more efficient than people second guessing and third guessing. But I think by the time you get to, 10 takes, like you've ingrained it in your head and you're out of the story. Yeah. And you're basically kind of just, doing something that sounds like it should be. instead of actually being.
And I want it to sound like it's people. And the thing that people say now all the time is, I don't want it to sound like an announcer. Of course, when you hear it on the commercial, but they don't want you to sound like it. You don't want you to sound like it. So you go, okay, cool. So that's where a lot of times I will just cold read it.
Yeah.
I want it to be off the top of my head. Like I'm thinking about it. And I listen to it. I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds good. I'm good. And then the second one, I know a little bit more about it, so I play with it a little more. Because they want two different reads. I'm like, well, this is the one that you asked for, and this is the one that you didn't ask for that you're going to go with anyway.
I love how you made the distinction about, well, when you hear it on air. Then it does sound like that announcer. It's so funny because so many people are like, but that's what I hear. And so when they audition or when they're trying to do a read for me, because I do a lot of non-broadcast and commercial stuff, they always, if they're not an experienced actor, they haven't really been at it for a while, they usually try to just say it in the melody they think it's supposed to sound like.
Yeah.
And and then they say to me, but that's what I hear. That's what's out there. And I'm like, but that didn't get you the gig. Right?
Yeah.
It's showing that you're the actor, that's going to get you the gig. And then, whatever they want. I mean, if they want you to read it like it's like announcery, I mean, we can all do that with our eyes closed.
Sure.
We don't necessarily need, if you got a good voice, most people can just, read nicely.
Yeah.
But I like that because not a lot of people say that. Do you know what I mean? They're like, no, you must be the actor, but they're like, but I don't hear it that way, and a lot of times you really don't.
Yeah.
So what do you think the reason for that is? Is it the person that finally says okay, the director that hears that in his head, or?
Why do you think it is that they go with that?
That they go with the announcer at the end.
It's probably the producers.
Yeah.
To be honest, the director says, "I want to do this thing," and the producer says, "We're not going to do that." And you say, "Yes, sir." It happens all the time. I just say, this is one of my calling cards. Just go, "Hi, I'm Spike Spencer. I act fast." Boom, 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 boom. So that's fun.
So let's talk a little bit about, voice acting versus on-camera acting. You said you were on-camera first, right? And so how did that inform your voice acting career? They're the same, but yet they're different.
Yeah, they're quite different. And it's difficult because you have to learn to go smaller when you're acting, voice acting. Because any movement, and you've got all these lines and places to go and places to hit and do your thing. There's a lot going on. And the cool thing with voice acting is, you can do it in your pajamas. You're right there. It's so much more relaxed. It's so much more fun. I'm not going to lie.
You're right.
You go in, you do your thing, and you're out. On the set, you're there all day long. And then suddenly they go, okay, 5 minutes. You're like, huh? What? Oh, brr. Okay. And now I've got to go, scream because my best friend just died or something. It's like, okay. It's quite taxing. But I just love voiceover. I really do love it. And it's fun. I've done so many different weird things, just like I'm sure you have. It's like, we do voice weirdest things over 30 years. You've done stuff. And you're
absolutely.
Like, I got paid. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's right. I got paid, and I'm on to the next one. That's what I love about it. I always tell people that, because I do a lot of the non-broadcast stuff, and I'm like, well, it's one way that I win at corporate. I used to work in corporate, and it was always, people in corporate are always so unhappy for the most part because they don't feel loved or appreciated, and they're like, I want to go into voiceover to explore my creative side. And I'm like, well, look, this is the way I win at corporate. I'm in, I get paid, and I'm out. And I don't have to sit through any boring meetings or deal with anybody's egos, or my. You're going to be in that boring. You're
going to be in that boring meeting listening to me.
Oh yeah. So I'm like, it's winning in corporate when you do it that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. So let's talk about what allows you to sustain that energy, that creative for character and anime over the years. Even especially if you're doing, if you're working on the same game or the same show or something similar to the show. So how do you keep that creative energy flowing?
I just love doing it. I love performing. I always have. Even when I'm not doing voiceover for other people, I'm thinking, okay, what can I do? Can I do a podcast, which I did for a year? Can I do? I had a Discord thing going for a Twitch thing for a while. I've got membership groups that I work on, my own personal membership groups. And I've got the cooking show that I did for a whole year, kind of on a hiatus. I don't know if I'm going to go back, but now I turned that into a cooking membership group. So I've got things, and I'm doing things on camera, whether I'm cooking on camera or whatever it is. I'm performing, and I'm getting my creative flow out, and I like doing that a lot. And I like teaching. I still coach, and that's fun. I do a little bit of coaching. I don't do the in-depth coaching right now, but it's something that I like to do. It's really not, for me. It's not really coaching. It's more of consulting / teaching. But coaching is a little different animal. My wife is a high performance coach. She does amazing things. I'm like, that's a lot of work. You go, honey. I love you.
Oh my gosh. Well, you do so much. I mean, besides the voice acting work and your cooking show and all the things that you sound like me, because actually I'm like, I want to do this, and this. What really intrigues me, and yes, we could talk voiceover all day, but what really intrigues me about what you do is the other stuff, like NLP and the, and that type of, I would say, mindset work. Tell me a little bit about that, and how is that important for a voice actor? Like, why would they need something like that?
It's huge. It's huge. That's one of the things that whenever people come to me, that's the main thing they want to talk about. They're like, how do I get better? How do I, move forward? And because they're so, God, nobody beats themselves up harder than actors. It's nuts.
Yes, that's true.
And I'm just like, wow, guys. And you have to get to the point. This is when I told people, it was funny because I was a dating and relationship coach as well. And
what haven't you done? My goodness.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There was a time. Well, that's the other book, Food Game. It's right here. There we go. Yeah. That's my dating and relationship book right there.
Food Games?
Food Game. A man's ultimate recipe for dating success.
Oh, my husband cooks, so I get that.
It works.
And he
Ask
totally
my wife.
He totally got me with his cooking. Yeah, I don't think. Well, we've been married 25 years, and I don't really cook. I don't make. I can make a good salad, but he cooks every night. He loves it.
Yep,
it's like
that's what I do.
It's his creative outlet, and so he got me with that.
That's exactly.
And other things
how it
too,
works.
of course. But the cooking was amazing. So
well, I tell my
amazing.
wife, I'm like, just don't. No. She just destroyed a pan the other day. I'm like, she was boiling water or something. It was crazy. I'm like, how did she do that? It's alchemy.
My husband will escort me out of the kitchen.
Lovingly.
I'll just try to cut something with a sharp knife, and he'll be like, honey, just go. Just don't. Just go. You're gonna hurt yourself.
That's exactly what I'm like. I'm sitting there, and she's doing it. I'm like, oh no, ooh. I know.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. Well,
and the other thing is, I'm a chef. I'm actually a chef because I trained in Australia when I was there. We were stuck there over COVID. Whole long story. But so I went to chef school while I was over there. But I've been cooking for 30 years anyway.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Anyway, back to mindset.
Well, okay, so you do so many things. I think it's mindset, and then there's NLP. So what's the difference for bosses who are not familiar?
Well, so NLP is Neuro-Linguistic Programming. It's how we say anything and how we do anything. NLP is the study of excellence and breaking it down backwards. Okay, there's so much to it. But to make it easy for people, it's I just tell people, I say, listen, you say things all the time. And remember, all these things that you say, you are listening. Your subconscious is listening.
Yes.
That's huge. And you don't really understand how important that is. So for actors, for voiceover people, some of the steps that I will give them is, do you want to go through a few of those?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
One is like your space. You turn it into a sanctuary. All right.
Okay.
So it's a safe, so that you're not, if somebody's on the other side, you're holding your back from acting. You've got to scream and cry like you're on fire again, for an audition and everything. But somebody's on the other side of that door, you're not going to do it. Or if you're doing a funny commercial, you're thinking somebody's listening. So you've got to make sure that your space is, sound tight as much as you can, or nobody's there or whatever. You get your mindset into that space by, you could anchor anchoring is something physical you do that you react to and changes your state. Tony Robbins, he talks about how do you change your state. And
like when I'm driving in the road on the road in Jersey, because I'm a Jersey girl, and somebody cuts me off. Yeah, I have a physical a physical reaction that puts me into a state.
Yes, I would recommend some timeline therapy on that one.
At the most simplest of comparisons or analysis, that's what gets me into a state. Right? Somebody cuts me off, I
immediately,
and that puts me in the state. Yeah,
and it's weird because a lot of times those things, the problem is never the problem. There's something else that goes into that, and I can go into this for a long time. But let's get back to the voiceover part of it. When you go into that space, you can anchor it. For example, Brendan Burchard, who is an incredible scientifically based teacher, motivator, all that. He doesn't do motivation. He does deep, in-depth stuff. And we've trained with him. And one of the things that he does is he gets himself anchored so that when he goes into a doorway, he gets energized. Any doorway. He's gotten to this position where he's just boom. And if you ever meet him, he's like, he's all over the place. And when you anchor yourself to, okay, I'm going into my booth now. This is my world. You know, it's like you can pop in and go, boom, bitch, this is my house. You know, this is it. And you get that that feeling. You get into that state before you start doing your work. You're standing taller. You've got more breath. You're like, oh, and there's a difference between sitting there doing a voiceover like this,
oh, absolutely,
or doing it like this. You know,
when coaches are like, I say physicate all the time, but it's a form of it.
Absolutely.
Getting yourself in a state or specific, if I'm like this, my emotion is going to be heightened and more excited, then you're right, then it's slumping. So, yeah.
Well, it's also about an energetic quality that you'll have when you're feeling better. When you're feeling... Can you hear that?
Is that a dog?
That's my donkey.
No.
We have donkeys.
You do? It's
we have
your donkey?
2 donkeys, 15 chickens.
In the house?
No.
Are they in the house? Oh,
no.
I was going to say, you're looking over to the side of you like, I'm like, is there a donkey beside you?
I've got a window here. Yeah, they're right out there.
Sounds like a dog, but that's so cute. I love donkeys.
It's a crazy donkey. It's fun. Yeah. I got 2 of them. I got Hote and Herbert. So, and we used to have 6 goats. So we had more.
Okay.
We have a homestead. So I got a bunch of acres and a big house in Texas Hill Country now. And my first actual sound studio in my house is downstairs. It's fabulous. Anyway, so back to a couple other aspects is people get so down on themselves. And they're like, maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe I'm not this. And I'm trying to come up with a better name for it, but you know how people say...
self-sabotage, maybe?
You say, no. You know how people say, speak it, and it is. I'm a millionaire. And you say that over and over again, manifesting affirmations, etc. And I know why they don't work, because you don't believe them. And so what I tell people is, okay, I say, well, are you a voice actor? And they go, okay, well, hold on. Have you done any work? Have you been paid? No. I said, okay, go back to the people, or the next time you do a freebie, ask for $10. Say, can you just give me $10 so I can go buy some lunch? Great. They'll give you $10. You are a paid voice actor. Boom.
There you go.
There you go. Change your state. Are you a paid voice actor? You can literally say, well, yes. Yes, I am. And that changes who you are. And when I said, talking about the dating and relationships, one of the biggest things that helped me in my acting and in my dating and all the other stuff is there comes a point when you go, whoa, I got this. I'm good. And you stop doing that, oh, I hope I get it. No, I'm good. If they like me, it works. I'm cool.
Yeah.
Nothing is better than confidence.
So, wait, I'm going to relate this back to dating because I, for the longest time, I was career, and I put my head down, I worked. And, of course, my health went down the hill because, I wasn't paying attention. I was just working. I was completely focused. And I always tell people, I lifted my head up 11 years later, and I'm like, oh, my God, I haven't had a date in, you know what I mean? It was one of those things, and I'm not healthy. I'm all I do is work. I don't exercise, and I haven't had a date in a really long time. And once I kind of did that, and I said, okay, I started to do something about it. And then I decided that I wasn't, because I kept thinking, I'm never going to get married. I'm not going to find anybody. And I finally just said, you know what? I'm okay just being me. And as soon as I did that,
How
boom,
soon?
I met my husband. I mean, I was almost immediate. I swear to God, within a week or two. And then all of a sudden I met my husband, and it was like, oh, okay. Once I made that decision, and I just said, okay, I'm okay. Hey, I'm cool if I don't get married. I'm good with myself, and I'm happy with myself, and yeah. And then it happened. So
that's exactly how it happened to me twice.
Yeah, I can see how this all is related. So because, voice actors, it's such a piece of us, right, that we are putting out there. And I think that it absolutely has everything to do, probably more with the mental state, right, and your mindfulness, even sometimes more than your performance skills. Would that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Well, you cut off me a little bit there, so back up about 10 seconds.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I'm saying, would you say that the mindfulness and the state, when you put yourself in the state, and all that emotional stuff that you're working on, that's almost more important than the performance skills for acting?
For your personal well-being, absolutely. For certain.
But I think it drives your performance as well, right?
We are having a connection issue.
Oh no, you froze.
Hold on.
Come back.
My connection is strong. Yeah, you did too. There we go. I got you.
Oh,
you see me now?
Do you have anything else happening on your computer? Yeah, we can edit. No worries.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you got stuck on me. You're frozen.
Still?
Hold on. Almost. You started moving. There you are. Okay, we're back.
Okay.
I think we're good.
We're back. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was just saying, like, the mindfulness and your mental state has a lot to do with your performance.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
And I think it also has to do with what you're going to do after. Because you got another audition. You got to get out of it. You got to stop. There's a, what was the book that they were talking about? There was a success thing, and they were talking about tennis players. And they say, you'll see the tennis players, that some of the best tennis players in the world, what happens after they hit a shot? And they'll stop. They'll put the racket in the other hand and start adjusting the strings or something like that. And it's a totally different way. And they walk tall. And they call it the matador walk, sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
And what they have done, that is a physicality that they have changed. They've changed their state, and they move on to the next one, and they let that last one go. Now, I played tennis, not professionally, but I played tennis competitively when I was a kid. I wish I had known that then. But it's the same concept. You do an audition, stop, shake it off, go to the next one. It's the same thing in anything. You have a bad date, relationships. Okay, that didn't work out. Shake it off. Go to the next one.
Right.
It's like
you fall
anything
off the
else.
horse, you get back on. I mean, that's what I was always taught, right? And
Absolutely.
I had to get back, and I did. I rode horses. I fell up multiple times, and always it was like, get up, get back on the horse. And and it's interesting because you have goats and donkeys and everything. I mean, animals are so darn sensitive to us. Especially in riding a horse, it had so much to do with me, like, being able to cope with so many different things, because if I was nervous or freaked out, the horse felt it, and the horse reacted accordingly. So my horse was such a great teacher for me early on, and it really, I think, helped me in so many other areas of my life. Of course, fall off, get back on, that was part of it too, but also how I can calm myself down, how I can, talk myself out of being nervous. Because if I was nervous, the horse would freak out and get nervous. And, because I used to show, I wouldn't do as well in the class. So there's a lot that animals, I think, can really teach you as well.
Well, it's interesting that you say that.
Donkeys are so responsive. I think
donkeys,
they're very affectionate, right?
Sure.
I feel like sure. No, not really. I feel like donkeys are affectionate.
Well, I mean, Hote is the youngest.
If they like you.
Yeah. They're okay. They really love you when they want
No?
they want you to
When
feed
you
them.
want food, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They're just adorable.
I got it.
You know. But it's funny because we have a dog. We just got a little black Scotty about 8 months ago. I forgot how long ago. But still a pup, but looking good. And it's funny because the energy, because my sons, they have this manic energy. I'm like, okay, you got to walk him. And Marvin's like, nope. And they got to like drag me. He's like, nope, nope. And I get him and I go, come on. And he's like, whoop. He just gets up and goes. So it's the energy that I'm trying to teach them, meditation and breathing and all of that. So, yeah, that energy is very, very powerful, and it matters.
So it's energy, it's like things that you tell yourself. So if you were going to have a suggestion for a voice actor that continually is like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I screwed that audition up, like what would the first thing they should do be? Like what would you recommend? Change the way they talk first, or
the way you talk is important. Absolutely. You know, everything that you say about yourself, which is usually a lie, is you're listening. Let me explain it this way. There's a book called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, Dr. Joseph Murphy. It's an older book. Fantastic. I've read it probably 10, 20 times. You should see it. There's marks all over it. But he explains it this way. If you're in a submarine and you are the captain, and there's a guy in the very, very back of the submarine who's just got to, he's got to turn a lever, up or down, yes or no. And you're the captain, and you say, "I'm fat." He way back in the back, he's like, "Yes, sir." I'm not fat. I am absolutely incredibly in shape. Yes, sir. It believes whatever you tell it. It doesn't matter what you say. There's no judgment. It's just this is the fact, and you change the way you speak. We do it all the time now. We have a certain way of speaking, and people are like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "Don't worry about it." But it's a way of saying, something you don't like, we reject it, or cancel, clear, or there's all kinds of different ways you can do that. But you have to start talking to yourself well. That's
I
important.
agree with that. And that's so funny because I've had that experience throughout my life, personally, like with my weight. I just can't lose this weight, right? And all of a sudden, I know, I've read, I've heard, the way you talk to yourself is important. And it wasn't really until I had I call it like the break. I got a break. My body lost a pound. I don't know how it happened because I kept saying, I can't. But my body lost a pound. And I said, oh my God, it's possible, right? And then I said, all right, let me try this. Let me just try saying, all right, I'm going to look at the scale. I'm going to lose weight. Absolutely. And I'm telling you, it actually works.
Yes.
I think it's because it really directs like the rest of what you do with that, right? So you say, oh no, it's very possible. And then that kind of instructs like what you're doing to actually make it possible.
Well, I can give you an example. This is something that happened to me personally. So I had my spine fused in 2004, and I had back pain for decades. I had for many years before and many years after, all the way up to 8 years ago. And it just always hurt all the time, every day. It didn't matter. Somebody said, "How's your back?" I'm like, "It hurts," and it's just over and over again. And then I got a book by Dr. John Sarno, and he had healing back pain and the mechanics of back pain, something like that. And actually, Yuri Lowenthal, I don't know if you know Yuri. Great voice actor. Wonderful human being. So he introduced it to me. There was a show there in Hollywood that we went to, and it was a documentary about this Dr. John Sarno and this guy who had back pain and how he got rid of it. And I was like, what? Okay, I'll look, because Yuri was looking at surgery as well.
Yeah.
And so I went and I read the book, and it basically says, there are so many people that have back pain and all these other pains that there's no physical reason why. Subconscious. And I read the book, and I just went, well, that's interesting. It's rage. A lot of time it was rage.
Okay. Yeah.
It was a very weird thing, So, but it was it just kind of broke it down and said, here's what's going on, da-da-da. So I read that thing. The next day I woke up, my back didn't hurt, and I haven't had back pain since. So I was like, whoa, that's okay. What just happened?
So, I actually believe that. But do you think that my mother had her spine fused 3 times. She was in chronic pain. And I think a lot of it stemmed from she was under a lot of stress in her life, and I think it just kind of manifested itself in back pain. And so the 3 fusions didn't work so well, but I felt bad because it was constant pain. And I don't know if something like that would have helped her, but I would have tried anything because, I felt for her. Yeah, absolutely.
It can't hurt. I think, one of the things that NLP taught me was you really need to look at things and learn about it. Don't learn, it's so many things that we talk about that people deal with. Everything's on this quick soundbite, ridiculous stuff. And, that's the fact. That's the fact. And I'm like, that goes into your head. That goes into your brain. We have 11 million bits per second come into our brain, and we can only handle about 150. So you got to dismiss, distort, change, all these sort of things. Well, you got to be in charge of what stays in there, and most of us are not. We're not aware that we can say, you know what, I reject that. I'm getting that out of my brain, and your subconscious will go, okay, it's just it'll agree with you, and you can do that. And affirmations are great.
Yeah.
But the thing about affirmations that I was saying earlier, I'm going to go back to that real quick, is that people say, let's say I'm a millionaire, and your subconscious goes, no, you're not. And so it's like, okay, that's working at odds. So somebody says, I'm a successful voice actor. I'm a successful voice actor, and your subconscious goes, no, you're not. And you go, okay, wait a second. Let's bring it back. I told it, bring it back on the stair-step to where you can believe it. And people say, I am a working voice actor.
And
are you?
Not really. I think that's the key. Absolutely. Because I think what most people do is they say, all right, I'm going to be making 6 figures in voiceover this year. And, I write it down for my goals. So why didn't it come true? Right. And I feel like what you said is to actually take it, stair-step it into something that you actually, it sounds realistic and that you can believe.
That's step one. That's step one. And I always tell the people that are looking at me, I'm like, you realize I want to be a voice actor or something. I said, you've taken the steps. You are on a call with a voice coach right now doing the thing that is going to get you to where you are. So where in that stair step are you? Not a millionaire, not a voice actor, but I am training and I believe I can do this thing. Boom, there it is.
I love it.
And then you believe it. Belief is how you manifest.
Okay. Got it. And then how does, when I step into my studio, how does the NLP come into play there? Because I associate a physical action with changing my energy and shifting it?
You can, like I said, anchoring. So for example, let's say, when you were a baby and your mom used to do this to you all the time. Like a little thing. It's like, oh, okay. And we don't realize that, but that's ingrained in our brain. And then, so you're on a date sometime with somebody and he just goes like this and you go, oh, and you're like, you don't know why, but that's anchored in, right?
I got, you know what, and I'm gonna say this on the podcast, and I don't know if people come back to me, I'll know that they're listening because my mother used to, when she wanted to put me to sleep, she'd rub my butt. So if that ever happens to me in present day, I'm like, oh my God, that feels great. You know what I mean? And it's just you just relax.
Honey, I'm tired.
Yeah. Can you just rub my butt? It was like she would always pat me, to kind of relax me and get me to go to sleep. And I'll tell you what, to this day, and it's so funny because, and you're right, and we know these things, but I think we tend to forget them a lot. I know, I've been through different courses that are you can change your life, manifest, and all that sort of thing. But I think what happens is we don't work at it. Or we say, yes, I'm going to work at it. And then you kind of, after a week, you're kind of weaker and you're not really focusing on it. And then you forget. And then, so therefore, you're like, well, that didn't work. Right?
Yeah. You go do it and then life arrives.
Exactly. So what's your tip for making that a focused project? Because I think so many people are not, it's not happening for them because they kind of give up.
Yeah. Well, think of something for getting into the studio, to getting into that state. It's like, you know how when, let's say a man's coming home from work all day. He's got work on his back. He's got all of it. And he comes in, and the wife is inside, and she's got kids and all this stuff on her back. And then they meet each other, and it's like, dump, brah! Okay? But if the guy can take a second and be mindful of it and go, just a little breath, have a quick gratitude. Hey, this is why I'm here. This is everything. Da 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 da. And come in with a nice, energy.
Yeah.
Then that changes the entire dynamic. So the same thing when you're going to go into your voiceover booth, let's say, like you make it a sacred space. You think of, okay, what works for you? When you go into the booth, is there something you can do to get into your energy? There's tons of things. You can think of something that you have done in the past that gives you great energy, and you feel that for a second and go, oh, this great success that I had one time. Get to where you feel that, energize it, make it bigger, and then do some specific physicality action before you get in.
Like touch the door or...
Touch the door, have a picture there that makes you like, Mel Blanc or something. You go, yeah, Mel, yeah. And then you get in that booth and you're feeling good. Like, for example, one of my NLP instructors years ago, he said anytime he does something exciting, he will grab his ear right here and pinch. Like he's on a roller coaster, everybody's going, yeah, he's going, yeah. He's anchoring that state
that feeling.
Yeah. Another really good one is if you've got a song that really moves you, like this one part that's like going, yeah, listen to it before you get in there and add a physicality to it. Don't just listen to it and go, I feel really good. Add a physicality, something. Hold your finger like this or, put your hands like this and go, yeah. Whatever it is, something that's physical so you've got different variations.
You've got energy, you've got physical, and then it kind of melds so that even though you may not be thinking that, if you touch that spot or whatever that is, it will hopefully be programmed for you to feel that energy.
It'll give you that state. It'll help you get into that state. Because that's important. And if you do, here's something that I do in the morning. This is something that people can do. I have morning affirmations. I have them on my phone. I got a list of them. I go walk the dog and I say my affirmations and I say them with energy and it wakes me up. It gets me going. It lets me use my vocal cords and that kind of thing. So rather than just sitting there going coffee and getting going. Yeah. But one of the things I coach, whether it's voiceover or not, is just something you guys can do, is you go in the morning, you get a book and you read. This helps cold reading. This helps, and get something that's positive, something that helps you, something that gets you going, and you read it out loud. Okay. While you're walking. Now, I say when you're walking. I used to do this on my apartment in LA. Walk and read and talk. Walking, talking, reading, and doing in an infinity circle. Okay. Don't do it in a circle; you'll get dizzy, and you don't want to do that on the 8th floor.
Yeah, right.
But the infinity, you're doing all these things. If, let's say, you're watching a video, you're going to pull in so much info. If you're just listening, you're going to pull in a little less info. If you're reading, you're going to pull in a little less. Well, what if you are doing? While you're reading information, warming up your voice, speaking affirmations, or if it's an affirmation book, whatever. Or you can just speak your affirmations, but speak them. Voice is spelling. That's why they call it spelling. The things you say matter. It's not witchcraft. It's just the thing. I'm working on a group membership coaching thing where I talk about the power of voice, called Invincible Voice, and it's all about that. It's all about. I mean, if you think about it, if you want to go religious with it, the Lord spoke everything into existence. Whenever you say, are you God or are you Jesus? Yeah. I am. That's huge, right?
It's so interesting because when it's how it relates, because when I'm coaching, I'm like, look, part of your kind of script analysis at first is to just kind of read out loud the script, because it gives you a little bit of muscle memory. It gives you the context of the script. You're not trying to perform. It lets you know, oh my gosh, if there's a big long sentence, you need to know where to breathe. And it gives you the whole overall picture of it, so that you can then inform yourself on how to tell the story, because you got to know the beginning and the end in order to inform the story and the storyline, because we're supposed to be storytellers. And that's so interesting. I didn't even like think that that's how it related. I just was like, no, this is a technique that I usually tell people to do. But that makes sense that it just all kind of comes back to, you know, energy and manifesting and that sort of thing. Wow. Yeah. I love this. I could talk about this all day because I think it is so important for us, for personally, but, you know, also it has such an effect on our careers and our performance and all of that. And I don't think people really think about it like that. You know, I think every year they listen to because I do a podcast every year about setting goals for the year, right? And it all seems like, well, what are we going to do this year? Because it seems like the same. And then people just kind of like, yeah, it's just the same. You're just going to set your SMART goals and stuff like that. And, you know, I'm not going to get there.
SMART goals, NLP.
Yeah, exactly. But
again, like I said,
people give up.
I know what you're missing. Because the SMART goal, they say, they say, you know, SMART, blah, blah, blah. They do all that stuff.
Yes, that steps it.
They forget to anchor it at the end.
Yes, with some sort of energy, right, or a movement, or
the energy. Like, well, you go 15 seconds after you've achieved that goal.
Okay.
And it's timeline thing. You go 15 minutes after you achieve that goal, and you turn around and you look at the fact it's already done. You've already achieved that goal. You're looking at it.
Got it.
And you go, one, how do you feel at that moment? And what is the thing that will let you know you've achieved that goal? It's like, when I do this, I will sit down and I will read a book. And boom, you know, I'll put my foot up on the desk and that'll be my, I've done it. You know, that sort of thing. That adds an extra level to it that people don't do.
Yeah. And I think that might secure, you know what I mean? That might secure it more for a lot of people because, again, there's like something that's associated with it beyond just the mind and maybe, I mean, a lot of people that say write it down. I mean, you know, those are your goals, but you haven't done anything if you've achieved them, right? And so that's the last part. Yeah, you have to write them down. But then when you've achieved them, you got to anchor something to that so that you can, right?
Well, most people will write them down, and they'll be in a book, and they'll be somewhere over there,
and they won't look at them.
They'll never look at it.
Yeah.
You know, old school achievement. There's a lot of NLP in it, but you know, gosh, I studied all the big guys back in the day, and you'd have a card, and you'd write your thing down, and you'd take it out every day and read it. You know, sometimes 5 times, but you read it till it is just that's a fact.
Yeah, you got to put it somewhere. Yeah, you got to put it somewhere that you see it constantly. Yeah. I love this.
It's that belief.
This is so, this is so good. Bosses, I mean, really. So I could talk all day with you about this, but I feel like tell the bosses how they can get in touch with you, how they might be able to coach with you, how they might be able to find out more about this so that they can, you know, help themselves, you know, be successful in this career and industry.
Well, I'm at
life,
Spike Spencer. Yeah, spikespencer.com. Easy to find. info@spikespencer.com. That'll usually get to me. I've got to fix that on my phone so I can actually get it. But I'm doing a few new things. Like I said, I've got some things in the works, but I can't really say here's what I'm doing yet. But I mean, this kind of stuff I can talk about it all day. I actually did on my podcast on YouTube called the Mind Scrambler podcast, and I interviewed a lot of voice actors as well. And some actors and stunt people and all that. And it wasn't about voice acting or anything. It was all about mindset, and it was all about different things. So it's a different version you'll see with these folks. So we talked about voiceover a little, and then we would go into different things. I'm thinking about starting that one again, but I haven't decided. I mean, like right now, like I said, I'm daddy daycare, man. I'm daddy chauffeur. I'm just like, what am I doing right now? I'm rocking the baby to sleep. I am driving my boys to preschool, or the one he's going to jiu-jitsu. So there's a lot, there's a lot of things we're teaching them, and
sure,
there's so much going on, and I'm gardening and all the stuff. We're homesteading, so
that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. And we're homeschooling and all that. I mean, we're doing we're doing the thing,
Yeah.
And love it. Absolutely love it. But the mindset aspect of it, though, I could talk about it forever. Seriously, the subconscious is my gig. And I love helping people manifest. And I show people how to do it, in your daily lives. I've done it. I've done it so many times. Because, I think something, and it's like suddenly you get that pressure and everything. Whoa. I have the power.
Right.
and I change my attitude, and suddenly, boom, oh yeah, we got that package right here at the post office that was 2-3 weeks, late. And they're like, it shouldn't be here. I'm like, I know.
I love it. I love
Somebody
it.
tell me, oh, we don't have that in stock. I said, I think you do. Go look in the back, would you please? Thank you. I'm sure you do. You do. And they come out, well, I'll be. There's one box left. I'm like, I know.
I'll be.
I know.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. This has been such a great conversation, Spike. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day, and you're busy cooking and taking care of the kids and voicing.
I'm going straight to the kitchen after this.
There you go. There you go. Well, I'm going to manifest everybody have a really wonderful rest of their day today. And I'm going to thank you again for sitting with me and chatting with me. And I want to talk to you again. Let's do this again soon. Right. All right, guys, I'm going to give a great big shout out to our sponsor, IPDTL. You too can network and manifest like a boss, like Spike and myself. Find out more at IPDTL.com. Bosses, have an amazing week and manifest that success. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Bye.